please. Please,
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Kamadiki Mataji, for your very, very sweet welcome. And thank you everyone for joining us for today's wonderful session. So today we are really very, very fortunate to have Her Grace Neena Mataji with us. And she is going to enlighten us on this wonderful topic of Krishna Katha. And before I hand over the call to her, I will just give a small brief introduction. So Neena Mataji was introduced to Krishna consciousness in Belgium in Radha Desh. Wow. She and her family were frequently visiting ISKCON temple in London as well. But she seriously took up Krishna consciousness when she started doing services in ISKCON Naperville temple. Neena Mataji has written several articles also for ISKCON, which were published in local newspapers, including Chicago Tribune. She writes weekly newsletters and sings kirtans at the local temple. She enjoys serving the local community by preaching in small groups, and she is an aspiring devotee and has already taken shelter under the guidance of His Holiness Srila Romapad Swami Maharaj. Materialistically, she holds 2 master's degrees. She is MA in English Literature and an MBA, and is currently working for JP Morgan. She right now, with her husband and her daughter, she lives in Naperville. And for Bhakti Sangha, Mataji does the introduction service every alternate Thursdays in the morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. And I'll personally like to add that I really love when she does the introduction services with her sweet melodious tune and voice. And she is very, very enthusiastic devotee that I could feel, though I haven't interacted with her personally. So thank you so much, Mataji, for your very, very kind association, for your enthusiasm, for your inspiration. Wow, you are so much, I didn't know that you are even writing articles too. So that's so inspiring. So today, Mataji will enlighten us on this wonderful topic of Lord Shri Krishna's Advent. So over to you, Mataji, and we are looking forward. Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranams.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I'm certainly not qualified. You were saying all such, you see, devotees are always so kind. They like to praise everybody who are not even qualified to receive that. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please, all of you, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to all our Guru Maharajas. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak few words, which you know that will only purify myself. I'm not qualified to talk at all. But by giving this opportunity, you are helping me to purify myself. So, and I hope, please bless me, please do bless me, so that whatever comes out of the mouth are pleasing to your ears, and it's enlightening to your heart and to all the devotees here. Now, the thing is, for this last 1 month, we all have been hearing Krishna Katha. All the Matajis have been coming forward and have been talking about Krishna's descriptions, Krishna's glories. So today, we will try to understand why did we actually do all this Krishna Katha? What is the summum bonum of it? What are we actually accomplishing by doing that? Is it just a pious entertainment because it's soothing to our ears, pleasing to our heart? Or is it really going to have a long-term, deep subconscious effect on us, which might even liberate us from these continuous birth and death cycle? So that is what we are going to understand today. So I have tried to focus on Srimad Bhagavatam in Canto 10, Chapter 1, which is Advent of Sri Krishna. And the main topic that we're going to focus on is the cure of repeated birth and death. I mean, we all know what is the cure, but do we really know? That is the question today. So we will begin first by prayers to Srimad Bhagavatam. Please feel free to join in with me with your praise. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naranchaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now let's do our usual prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Savadhutam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devan Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namahastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishubhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna. Please welcome once again to this mid-morning call. We will jump straight to the Aushadha, how to get out of this repeated birth and death. And it will be an offense if I miss out on singing of one little verse. And I have to say that it's very beautiful. It says, it gives the answer. It says, Nivritta tarsher upagiyamanat bhavaushudat shotra manobhiramat ka uttama shloke gunanuvadat puman virachate vina pashukhnat. So we will come to the meaning of that later. You will translate it in your heart. So the thing is, all this whole month, with the advent of Krishna, since Krishna's Janmashtami, we have been learning about Krishna's glory, speaking about Krishna's glory, describing about Krishna's glory. So the thing is, if one glorifies Krishna as he's described in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, or in the beautiful stories of Krishna, all these pastimes of Krishna, they are so enchanting to the heart and are really very, very enlivening and uplifting to our consciousness. So the verse I just recited, it says, Nivritra Tirsham. What does it mean? It means like by hearing those, all our material hankerings, those material cravings, those material desires will be completely vanquished when we hear about Krishna, when we talk about Krishna. So Matajis have been doing such a wonderful job and such a great platform. Every day for 1 month, diligently, one of the devotees would go ahead and start talking about Krishna, put in effort of mentioning about his wonderful glories, about his pastime. So what is it actually acting as? This is acting as not only Nivritta Tarsher, which is taking away all the material hankerings, but it is acting as a Bhava Shuddha, which means this discussion of acting of Krishna's activities are actually as an Aushudha, as a medicine that is to our material existence. You see, in this material existence, Prabhupada has said this many times. I'm only repeating what I hear from Maharajas, Prabhupada, so pardon me if I distort it in any way. So Prabhupada has said it many times that in this material world, we are living in like a diseased condition. what is diseased? If you think of the meaning, dis-ease. Ease means what? Ease means perfect health, perfect, constant, permanent, perfect health, positive health, not just the body health, mental health, emotional health, but we are in disease. Disease means not in ease, we are in disease. So we are not in 100% perfect health. We are not in a permanent, beautiful life. We are constantly in the janma mrityu jara vyati, janma mrityu jara vyati. So the moment we are born, we know that we are going to die. And the interesting thing is we know that we are going to die, but we are not aware of it. We are not conscious of it. So every day we think, we are not grateful to have this human life. We wake up and we take things for granted. And we know we are going to die, but we keep thinking, I'm not going to die now. We take our breath for granted. Each and every breath should be dedicated to take the holy name of Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. We don't do that. We think that I'm not going to die now, I'm going to die later. So the moment we are born, we know that we are going to die. However, we are not conscious about that this life is not to be taken for granted. Whenever we are young, we know that one day we will get old. However, we are not aware of it, that this is very short-lived. Whenever we have few days, we have good health, we know that we are going to fall sick again. However, we don't pay attention to it, that why is this impermanent thing happening? What is the way to get out of it? Because we are so much in love with the glories of material existence. We are so much hankering. We think we are not, but deep in the subconscious level, and it's difficult, I agree. But what is actually the way to come out of it? That's what we are going to discuss about it. So the only way to come out of this repeated disease of birth and death is by restoring our loving relationship back with Krishna. And how do we restore our loving relationship back with Krishna? By doing Krishna Katha, which you have been doing every day. So wonderful. All glories to all the Matajis and Prabhujis that have been dedicating so much time doing Krishna Katha and reading stories to all of us. So by doing this, actually it is helping us. And it is not just pleasing to the ear. Yes, it is. It is pleasing to the ear. It is enlightening to our heart. It is gives a wonderful meaning. But it is taking us. It is getting rid of that material hankering, that nivritta tashay. But there is one thing, when you hear something attentively, it affects us very deeply. So the only request that Prabhupada has done, all our senior devotees are saying it, whatever you do, when you hear the Krishna Katha, do it attentively. You see, when Mother Rukmini heard about Lord Krishna, she just fell in love with Lord Krishna. How natural was that? And our soul craves to hear about Krishna. It's natural to get attracted towards Krishna. And this Krishna Katha is so powerful. It is so potent that it is bound to work like an aushadha to us, So what is happening here is that in Srimad Bhagavatam, we hear about the advent of Krishna, how Lord Krishna is taking birth in Yadu dynasty. And we see Maharaj Parikshit is asking Shukadev Goswami, please tell me all about Krishna. Please tell me about his glories. Please tell me about all his pastime. Why? Why is he asking that? Because he knows that the death is there in 7 days. He is aware of it and he's conscious of it, So what Prabhupada is trying us to happen is that, he's trying to motivate us to get that seriousness back in Krishna consciousness. When he says Krishna conscious, he says, be conscious. Don't just take Krishna's name without your mind in it, without being conscious about it. So Prabhupada is saying, do Krishna conscious. That's why he said the name consciousness, Krishna consciousness. So when we see Parikshit Maharaj, he's inquiring from Sukadev Goswami. He wants to hear all his pastimes, all his glories. Why? Because he wants to restore that forgotten love, not forgotten for him, but he wants to restore that love even more strongly in his heart. And it shows that Parikshit Maharaj, he doesn't have thirst anymore for the material activities. So what is happening? The more we are hearing about Krishna Katha, the more attentively we are listening to Krishna's glories and Krishna's stories, to that extent, all the anartha nivritti is happening. All the trishna, the worldly trishna is going away. So here we are taking example of Parikshit Maharaj when he hears about Krishna from the very beginning Advent to from Goswami, from Sukadeva Goswami. He's inquiring with full passion, with full enthusiasm, yet very humble. He's inquiring it. So his material desires are going away from him. So listening daily to Krishna Katha is actually acting like a medicine to all of us. Now, one important thing that we must know here is one of the conditions. You see, we are saying that Krishna Katha is like a medicine, right? But even in our daily life, you see, Krishna consciousness is such a scientific thing. It's so beautifully, logically defined. If you think about it, you will definitely understand. I'm sure you do. So there are certain conditions that Prabhupada says, that our Acharya says, how to listen to Krishna Katha. There are certain conditions. And if you, for example, it's an aushadha, when we take our regular medicine, there are conditions to it. They would say that, you know what, the doctor will prescribe you, take this medicine early in the morning in empty stomach. Or he will say, take it with your meal when you eat. Or they will say, take it, do not take milk with it because the effect might get diluted. So similarly, our acharyas have told us some of the conditions that when we listen, how should we listen those Krishna Katha? So, and so what acharyas are saying, we should hear this Krishna Katha, the stories, the glories of Krishna from people that does not have Krishna, that does not have material thirst, that does not have the thirst for sense enjoyment or material activity. I'm going to read some from the Srimad Bhagavatam here, somewhat Prabhupada has written. These are very important, I think, to share. So he says, and rightfully so, he says, everyone within this material world, beginning from Lord Brahma down to the insignificant ant, is full of material desires for sense enjoyment. And everyone is busy in sense gratification. But when thus engaged, one cannot fully understand the value of Krishna Katha, either in the form of Bhagavad Gita or in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's very important whom we are hearing this from. He further says, Prabhupada says, if we hear the glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead from liberated persons, this hearing will certainly free us from the bondage of material activities. But hearing Srimad Bhagavatam spoken by a professional reciter cannot actually help us achieve liberation. And here comes my favorite paragraph where he says, Krishna Katha is very simple. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As he himself explains, Mata Paratam Nanyat Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya. O Arjun, there is no truth superior to me. Simply by understanding this fact that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can become liberated person. It's so beautiful. You see, we think that we have 100% surrendered to the Lord. We think that we have 100% surrendered to Lord Krishna, but have we? That is our today's quest. So every night, what I think it's a good idea to do, several acharyas have told in the nighttime, when you go to bed, think what you have done, analyze, have you really surrendered to Lord Krishna? Or there is still some aspirations that, oh, I wish my daughter, my son, my husbands, they love me more. I wish I get some recognition when we do the project. Oh, I wish. So those hankerings, are they still there? Then we haven't yet fully surrendered. So Prabhupada further says, but especially in this age, because people are interested in hearing Bhagavad Gita from unscrupulous person who depart from simple presentation of Bhagavad Gita and distort it for their personal satisfaction, they fail to derive the real benefit. There are big scholars, politicians, philosophers, and scientists who speak on Bhagavad Gita in their own polluted way. And people in general hear from them, being uninterested in hearing the glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead from a devotee. A devotee is one who has no other motive for reciting Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam than to serve Lord. There you go. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore advised us to hear the glories of Lord from a realized person. He says, a Vaishnava is a Nivritta Trishna. You know, a Vaishnava has all the genuine desire to become Nivritta Trishna, that is he has no material purpose, for his only purpose is to preach Krishna consciousness, to make Lord happy. Therefore, Krishna Katha should be recited by a person who is Nivritta Trishna. And here we get the example, Prabhupada gives the example of Shukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami is who? He epitomizes the proper reciter for Srimad Bhagavatam. And Parikshit Maharaj, who purposefully left his kingdom and family prior to meeting death, epitomizes the person fit to hear it. So a qualified reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam gives the right medicine, bhavaushadhi, for the conditioned soul. Now, the interesting thing is, Mataji, is if you think about it, this aushadha that we say, Krishna Katha, if you take a normal aushadha, if you take a normal medicine, they are generally not very tasteful. They are very bitter tasting and very hard to swallow, etc. But this Krishna Katha bhavaushadhi is such a wonderful medicine for the conditioned soul, because it's not only nourishing the soul, not only restoring our love, but it is also pleasing to the ear and mind. It is pleasing to the ear with this beautiful melody. It is pleasing to the ear with this beautiful meter. And it is pleasing to the heart with this meaning. So the sound vibration, these are so important. The sound vibration of Bhagavatam are very beneficial and pleasing to the ear and the heart and the soul. So now a question comes. So now the question is, if this is the effect of hearing Krishna Katha, we all become happy, we all become, we enjoy our time when we are talking about Krishna. So if this is the effect about hearing about God, then who is that person that will deny himself from the opportunity of hearing about God? What are these kind of people that will not want to hear about God? So again, these are described in our Vedic scriptures in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, that talks, there are people who does not take the opportunity to hearing about God, who does not take the shelter of his holy name, who does not hear his pastime. In this Leela, they are described in the Bhagavatam as Pashubnat. This is a very strong word. They're called Pashubnat, meaning the person is the killer of his soul, because he's a butcher. He knows he's mercilessly murdering his own self by not nourishing himself by hearing about the description of the God. You see, we also fall. I also fall because we know that this is repeated, the cycle of Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. It is going on and on forever. We know that these are all not permanent, yet we hanker for it. And yet when we listen, we don't listen attentively. Not listening attentively, not listening mindfully is also a sin, because it's like drinking poison knowingly. Because Vaishnavas are so fortunate, by grace of Prabhupada, we have got that, yet we are not utilizing it to the fullest extent. Then we are like drinking poison knowing it, because you see, Narottama Das Thakura says, Manushya janma paiya Radha Krishna na bhajiya janiya shunya bish khainu. So we have this human body, bahunam janmanam ante, we have this human body, and who knows how many millions of births and deaths, and after that we have received this human life. And in this human life, we are so fortunate, we have a wonderful platform like Bhakti Sangha to do our chanting, to listen. Yet we don't put our mind and full heart and full consciousness in it. So are we not Pashubnat? Are we not drinking poison? Knowingly, we think we are intelligent, we have the best way to get out of it. But the question that we need to ask are we really doing it sincerely, 100%? If not, how can we improve ourselves? So, it is very difficult to get a human life. But here what Prabhupada says, he describes a little bit about more on Pashubnat. He says, anyone who is not Krishna conscious and who therefore does not engage in the service of the Lord is also Pashubna, for he is willingly drinking poison. Such a person cannot be interested in Krishna Katha because he still has a desire for material sense gratification. He is not Nivritta Trishna. And it is said, Traivargikas, Purusha Vimukha Hari Medasha, which means these interested in Trivarga, which is Dharma, Artha, Kama, are religious for the sake of achieving material position. So what people are doing, they're doing Dharma, they're thinking, I'm doing my regular work. And what are we doing? My regular duties, regular work. Yes, I'm doing prayers, but to get only some of our Devi Devata's mercy, temporary. And then what are we going to use that for? We are going to use it for accomplishing more artha, which is financial success. And what are we going to use that finances that would accumulate for? So this is going on and on. It's causing the repeated birth and death. So all these dharma, artha, kama, Prabhupada says, are religious for the sake of achieving a material position with which to gain better facilities for sense gratification. Such persons are killing themselves by willingly keeping themselves in the cycle of birth and death. They cannot be interested in Krishna consciousness. So here we get the exact thing from Prabhupada. Why are we not getting interested in Krishna consciousness? Why are we constantly going into the repeated birth and circle thing? So again, once again, the only way to get out of this repeated birth and circle thing is by hearing with enthusiasm Krishna's story, and by hearing, by sincerely chanting the holy name of Krishna. So not only which are the stories that we hear from all the Matajis, beautiful 1 month story, I mean, from the very beginning. A few more days to go. And then I will definitely miss it. I'm not able to join Tuesdays or any other day because of my work, but we can always hear the recording. And what it is doing, those Krishna Katha, the beautiful words that are pleasing to our ear, that is so beautiful, gives meaning to our heart. It is actually, believe it or not, subtly restoring our love for Krishna. You see, we cannot say that Mother Rukmini, she had a natural love. Just by hearing, she fell in love. So our soul is also like that. You know, it wants to naturally fall in love. However, with so much condition, with so much dirt on the mirror of our soul, there's so much nonsense, if I may say, that we have gathered from this material world, that our soul has become very weak. Our soul has become so weak because we haven't fed it consciously with love. We are loving everything outside us. We love our children, we love our spouses, we love our work, we love even to go and do prayers. But are we really loving our soul? And the real loving of the soul is when it really naturally starts feeling the love for Krishna. You don't need to do anything. Naturally, Krishna, there is a natural love for Krishna. And that can be happened when we actually listen to Krishna Katha. So I cannot thank enough to all the beautiful, nice, wonderful devotees of Bhakti Sangha Japa that has been doing every day those reciting the stories of Krishna. Now, there is one more thing that Prabhupada said that is going to put a real full stop, a period to birth and death. And here is what he goes. Very, very powerful words. So pay attention. You see, Prabhupada, it was yesterday, I think Monday, he landed so many years ago in the US. And so whatever he says is very important. He came here, Nivrita Krishna, he had no hankering. He did not care to have any name, fame, glory. He did it for his love for his Guru Maharaj, his love for his Krishna. And he's giving the lines that I'm going to read are so powerful. So we still have hope, devotees. So listen in. He says, the cycle of repeated birth and death by which one takes on different bodies again and again is called bhava or bhava roga. If anyone willingly or unwillingly, here it comes. So many times, you know, we are waking up in the morning unwillingly. Oh, my body is so tired. I cannot get up to do the Krishna name. Oh, I'm going to miss the class. I cannot. I'm so tired. We think. However, even if you're unwilling, but you actually get up and you do it. So here is what's the result. Very, very nice. If anyone willingly or unwillingly hears Krishna Katha, his bhava roga, the disease of birth and death will certainly stop. There you go. What more do you want? Therefore, Krishna Katha is called Bhavaushudha, the remedy to stop the repetition of birth and death. The karmis or person attached to material sense enjoyment generally cannot give up their material desires. And I know people, they are multi-millionaires having private jets. And if you tell them, you know what, get out of this repeated thing, forget everything, lose your desires, just think of Krishna, it's difficult because they have everything there for him in abundance. So, but still, unwillingly, even not willing to give up the desires, even at that condition, if one is hearing Krishna Katha and he's taking his holy name, it will act as a bhavaushudha. It's like a mahaushudha. And that is the remedy to stop the repetition of birth and death. So karmis or person attached to material sense enjoyment generally cannot give up their material desires, but Krishna Katha is such a potent medicine that if one is induced to hear Krishna Katha, he will certainly be freed from his disease. So wonderful. What more can we say? Well, the only thing more we can say is that Prabhupada did, selfless job, such a wonderful job, such a labor of love he did. The only one more thing we will add here is about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu going from door to door, he's just pleading to take the name of Krishna. He's saying it's not difficult to stop this repeated cycle of birth and death. He's not asking us to meditate for hours, you see, because in this age, I'm sorry to say, but so many people have such short span of attention. Most of the people I met also, they're ADHD, they cannot focus on something, so forget meditation. Many of the people, most people cannot meditate. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not asking that you go and start doing a lot of homams, homa that you do fire sacrifices in a lavish way, start feeding people. No, he's not asking that. He's not asking to go and please the deities with the flower, and especially in Chicago here, the winter is so harsh that you don't even find flowers naturally available. He's not asking us to do anything. All he's requesting is take his holy name. Nam Shuddha Nam Kuraja. And he says, he established the Yuga Dharma. He says, Harir Nama, Harir Nameva Kevalam. Hello, Nastyeva Gatiranyatha. There's no other way. When Mahaprabhu, Krishna Swayam, he is telling us there is no other way but to take Krishna's name. Then why are we not doing it? But there is one condition, as our acharyas are saying, is that we are doing it with full attention, that we are doing it with full love. So, because otherwise, it's not that it wouldn't work. It will work, but it is not as effective. The medicine is not that potent when we don't do it with full heart and full enthusiasm. So I don't know, what can we take back home today? That every morning that we chant, maybe we can not first thing in the morning, let's not go ahead and log into Facebook, WhatsApp, because then we are collecting a lot of garbage in our consciousness. So first thing in the morning, because our mind is so pure and it's all induced with positivity, with Brahma Murta and this wonderful platform of Bhakti Sangha, let's go and chant. But when we chant, we shouldn't chant because we are afraid what my Guru Maharaj will say. Well, it's not the fear. It has to be chant with love, with bhava. So when you chant, let's take the name of the chant like, okay, this is my time, 1 hour, everything goes. I just chant for Krishna, and I hope Krishna will be pleased. And of course, the mind is naughty. The mind keeps disturbing us because that's the Kali Yuga. This is doing its work. In Kali Yuga, mind is always chattering and loitering from here and there. Let's speak to our mind. What I do, I speak to my mind. I say, cholo Krishna charane. Let's go to Krishna's feet. Or I'll see whatever activities or whatever thoughts are coming, we will push it aside. Let's focus this again and again. Chanting with attention. That's what Mahaprabhu is saying, is that he's literally begging all of us. He's telling, Nastyeva gatiranyatha. There is no other way but to chant his holy name with all full attention and enthusiasm. And By chanting, what is happening? We are getting Nivritta Trishna, our material hankerings are going away. Believe it or not, it works very, very subtly. It's not like a one-day effect. It takes time. So it is working. And when the Nivritta Trishna happens, we want to hear about Krishna Katha. We want to hear how the Matajis are talking so beautifully, nicely, the stories of Krishna. And what is happening when we hear the Krishna Katha? The love is getting restored for the Lord. And then the next morning, when the love is getting restored for the Lord, then we chant a little bit better. Because then we chant really not as a habit, not as like we have to, not as we are like, oh, like that, but oh, yes, it's morning. Another day to go back to, another day to get out of this repeated birth and death cycle. So by hearing Krishna Katha, we are actually restoring our love for Krishna. So I cannot thank enough. So all the organizers of Bhakti Sangha, probably they are not aware that what a wonderful service you are doing by asking the people that are providing service to talk about Krishna. You see what is happening when we hear about Krishna, our mind get diverted, even for a fraction of a second, it gets diverted. But when you're asked to speak, whoever is speaking, whichever Mataji, Prabhuji is speaking, what they have to do a little bit of research, right? They have to listen to the Maharaja's lectures. They have to do so what is happening? They're spending more time consciously, willingly or unwillingly, they're actually researching on the Lord. They're actually writing some notes on the Lord. And when they're speaking with focus. So actually, Bhakti Sangha is doing such a wonderful service to the people that are allowing people to talk and diligently letting people to come and join this japa session. I cannot thank enough. So all I can say is that, with the stories that we have heard, the main goal is not just to let it remain as a story, but to actually apply it and try and keep trying to develop that love for Lord Krishna, develop and restore that love for Krishna, so we can come out of this repeated birth and death cycle, so we can get out of this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. So I think I will just end here. I hope I have not taken too much time. And we all know whatever I'm saying is just trying to bring a little bit more awareness. So please, please come forward and amend me, correct me, rectify me. And if you have any questions, concerns, please go ahead and let's discuss. It will only give us more love for Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji. What a brilliant class. Awesome. It was such an instructive class and so sweetly with full conviction. And while you were giving all those things, I was feeling that how much conviction you yourself have in hearing Krishna Katha, in glorifying Krishna, and of course in the beautiful process of chanting. I really like the way you were speaking with so much of faith, with so much of conviction. That was really good. And yes, thank you for glorifying Bhakti Sangha also in your session. That shows that how much grateful and indebted you are towards Bhakti Sangha that, yes, Bhakti Sangha has made very significant changes in the life of many, many devotees, and that's very true. And among them, I'm the one whose heart was also transformed. But thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for such a beautiful session, such a powerful points you made. And it was really very instructive that how Krishna Katha acts as a medicine. And yes, then slowly it's a medicine, but then it gets transformed into love for Krishna. And then we don't do this Krishna conscious activities or devotional service just as a medicine to cure ourselves, but that medicine gets transformed into the love for Krishna, because then we started doing because we love Krishna. So thank you, Mataji. Thank you for such a beautiful class, beautiful points that you made. And I hope everyone can imbibe on that, including me myself. I can also have that taste for chanting the holy name, that every morning I should also feel that, oh, wow, this is another a golden chance where I can come more closer to Krishna. I hope I can imbibe that mood. Hare Krishna, Mataji. I don't have any question, but very, very beautiful session. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. You know, when I'm saying that it works very, at a very cellular level, it does. Because you see, I used to be very skeptical. So years ago, when I first came into Krishna consciousness, I used to drink coffee, tea. In fact, without that, I would get a headache. But I didn't forcefully leave it. But believe it or not, when I started chanting, it was so nice. And I did not realize 6, 7 months later, I was thinking, what happened? I am not drinking tea and coffee. How did that happen? It's so interesting. So it works on a cellular level. Slowly, the things will fall in its place. And Krishna's mantra, this Maha Mantra, is so potent. It will hold you tight. It will protect you from every way so that you can come and chant. I don't know. This is my personal realization. So just wanted to share it. That's
Jai. Thank you. Thank you so much, Neena Mataji. I know I'm taking everybody's time, but on this, I just remember one incident which I like to share. Sure. That how you said that how this Krishna consciousness acts subtly. You don't even understand, that something is happening in your consciousness or in your heart. So one time, we went for a book distribution and there was a couple, they opened the door. We were on door-to-door book distribution. And that person, we just told them about this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna book, as a pack we were trying to distribute, that it works wonderfully and it works subtly and, there will be a transformation. And we were speaking all these things. And that person said, since you are saying I am taking these 2 books, and he gave a very wonderful donation, but then he said, I promise you that this is going to be lying in my bookshelf forever. I'm not going to read it. He just said it on my face. And he said, I'm not going to read it throughout my life because it's going to transform me and I don't want to get transformed. So there are some people, they know that this is going to work, but they don't want it to be work. So he said, I'm happy in my materialistic life and I'm never going to read it.
You see, Jania Shunya Bish Khainu. That's the people drinking poison.
Yes.
What can you do? Yeah, there are.
Yes. But he took book and I'm pretty sure books will work miraculously. Not for him, but maybe for his generations to come.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you for sharing, Mataji. Wonderful. They are very inspirational notes for everybody.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. What a class, Mataji. Super, super class, Mataji. Oh, such a beautiful class. You are talking about how the chanting should be there, how our mood should be there. And we should always appreciate for the every day in the morning that we got one more day. And that kind of, I don't know when I will get that kind of feeling that today is another day that Krishna gave me and I have to use it for him. I don't know, Mataji, to take again so many years for me, but I really loved your class. Each and every point that you have speak today was very nice. And I really like even Kitida Mataji about book distribution. Initially, when my husband came to US, he was going to Hindu temple. And in Hindu temple, all the friends used to go in one car to eat prasadam. Because they are bachelors. So they want to go there and they want to eat prasadam. So they saw that ISKCON devotees are distributing the books over there in the side corner. And one of his friends was telling it, hey, don't go there. If you go there, you will not come back. I mean, like, don't go there and don't buy the book from them. Don't buy the book from them. And from then, my husband used to say me, oh, ISKCON devotees are there. My friend told me not to go there. But it happened. So we went into the same apartment where the full of devotees are there. Somehow we got prasadam and we came into Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada always says that I heard that who don't want to come into the movement, they will only first come and sit over there. That is what, if you say that I'm not going to become a devotee, I'm not going to become a devotee, you are the first person to become devotee. So very, very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much for such a beautiful class. Your voice and your class is so amazing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. And I keep thinking, and I'm myself, I'm so sorry. I feel I don't do justice to this Bhakti Sangha by joining every day, especially on the weekend. We said, okay, we will, instead of 4, we will join at 5. But you see, Mahaprabhu has made it so nice and easy. If there is, I've heard this from the Acharya, that in the winter, if you can't even offer a little flower or fruit, just do Manas Puja. Like, we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. There goes one tulsi leaf and Lord Narayan's feet. Even by doing that, see, I hear from Acharyas how to bring that bhav in the chanting. And I've heard that it has helped many people. So all glories to Bhakti Sangha Japa platform, and all glories to the devotees like you that are doing such wonderful service. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you for talking about Manasa Puja, Mataji. Thank you so much. Helps everybody. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for beautiful, beautiful class.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Jai Jai Nityananda, Jai Jai Gauranga. Touch to heart class, Mataji. The way you explain the Leelas from Acharyas, you start the class, and you given us so much respect to all Vaishnava. Yes, I agree with you, Mataji. When we are not qualified to give a Krishna Katha's class, Mataji, but when we when we come in this Bhakti Sangha platform, Mataji, we have to research all the Maharaj lectures and Sannyasis lecture for our own purification. And we feel so happy, so happy. The rasa is coming out. And one more thing, touch to heart, that every day all the Matajis are given a class. When we hear before going bed, Jai Pataka Maharaj, Shri Chaitanya Charanamrita class, all the Matajis, sometimes we miss because of some other seva.
Yeah.
In Hindi, Lal Govind Prabhuji's class and Vaishnav Song Seva. So, Mataji, when we hear before going 9 o'clock, we have to stop everything. And when we hear 9 to 10:30, this class, next day the rasa is coming in our Japa, Mataji. I learned this lesson from last 1.5 months, Mataji. I agree with you. This is for our own purification. And more sincerely, we will do that Japa. And that Leela is going on.
Yeah.
Hari Hari Gauranga, you are explained so nicely, Mataji. Wonderful class, Mataji, especially for me and all Vaishnava. Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Naste, Gati Arnida. Mataji, how nicely, one by one, practical class you will take that we will apply in day-to-day life, Mataji. And this Krishna Katha is for our own purification. That much I understand. When we prepare notes, that is our own purification. हमारे खुद के लिए है. Or we are making all the notes. And Mataji, you are given us so much respect to all Bhakti Sangha Matajis. Yes, Mataji, when we give a respect to our senior and junior Vaishnava, nobody is senior and junior, please forgive me. But when we give a respect to all Vaishnava, Mataji, automatically the blessing came. And whenever we have to speak, I don't know from where we speak Krishna Katha. I love this quality that we have to glorify all Vaishnava. Hari Hari, inspire all Vaishnava. Hari Hari Gauranga, Dandvat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thanks so much for your kind words towards all the Vaishnavas. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji. Very, very, very nice, beautiful class. We have very straightforward given the nectar from the Prabhupada and the Bhagavatam. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji, for all your blessings. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Mataji. Thank you very much for your association. Hare Krishna.
Yes. But you have endeavored and given this. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Nina Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Fantastic class. Krishna. Excuse me a second. Sorry, my son was asking me a question, but that was a fantastic class, amazing class, especially when you were saying it's enchanting to the heart and enlightening to the heart. I mean, so many points were sticking in my head. And when you said we should be chanting with love, not with fear. And then you said, when I talk to my mind and tell my mind, let's go with Krishna. So, I mean, so many points that where I was thinking in my head, and especially when you said, because of Bhakti Sangha, we do so much research and we do so much studying. And I need to attest to the fact that not only am I doing so much reading about, back and forth, connecting dots and this, but every time somebody speaks during this whole month, I have found a jewel, something that somebody has said that just kind of like attracts my mind. And I'm like, wow, let me go check that. Or let me go find out, how does that, it's like it's a puzzle. There's a whole big picture. And every time you delve more and more, you find so many more jewels, treasures within that. And it just amazes me. And I'm so, how do I say, amazed, amazed at Srila Prabhupada. I'm amazed at I'm amazed and I'm blessed. And the other thing that I was thinking is that each one of the Matajis brings a different flavor. So that's the other thing, it's like, all I could say, it's like a different flavor every day. So you got a different flavor ice cream every day. I mean, yes. How good, how wonderful is that? It just amazes me. And I want to attest to the fact also about how it works on the cellular level, or works unknowingly. And I might have shared this before, but I used to read a lot of novels. I was always, since I was a kid, I was reading all kinds of books. I would go to the library and get a stack, and I would bring it home, and I would just sit and read. That was what I'd always do. And then I started, and up to the age, in my 40s even. So, I was reading novels all the time, you name it, I was reading it. And then I started reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and I said, I got to get serious. I want to get initiated, this and that. So I started reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and unknowingly to me, I lost taste for reading novels. I could not get into them. And even if my kids say, oh, you should read this book, it's really interesting, because my kids are all readers. So they would tell me, read. And so I would try to read it, but I just couldn't. And it was not like I consciously thought of, let's not reading. I didn't even try to stop reading, really. But it's just, I didn't get a taste for it anymore. I was like, and I was just like really, surprised, blown away, very happy that I didn't have to try too hard. It just went away. It gave me a lot of hope that Krishna will please remove all the other anarthas and all the other attachments that I have, slowly and subtly, without making it too painful for me, without me knowing it. That's what. But thank you so much. Thank you. Wonderful class.
Thank you so much for sharing, Mataji. It's so true. I used to also read a lot of books, which were but then later, once you start getting to Krishna consciousness, you're right, the taste changes. And we don't have to try hard. It's like automatically, I'm like, then I don't understand. How was I even reading those other books before? My only complaint to Krishna is that, why did it take such a long time to come into my life? You could have done it so much before, but so blessed, Mataji. Thank you for sharing. Hare Krishna. If there are no further questions, should we end the call? Or if anybody wants to share, please go ahead.
Mataji, we have chat comments.
Yes.
Yeah, I will read Mataji for you. Here Supriya Mataji, Shama Supriya Mataji is saying that she is also agreeing with about the Bhakti Sangha, what
Bhakti
you said.
Sangha, yes.
Yes. Then Brinda Gopika Mataji already spoke with you. So then here Parima Mataji is saying, Hare Krishna Mataji, you are a fantastic speaker. Thank you so much for a wonderful class. Bhakti Sangha is indeed a very, very wonderful platform for making spiritual progress.
Yes.
So again, Shama Supriya Mataji is saying, very powerful class, Mataji. Thank you so much. Again, Shivani Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, excellent class, Mataji. Thank you so much for wonderful class and for your very great association. Bhakti Sangha is a great platform for all of us. I am looking forward every morning and afternoon to to the time when I can join Bhakti Sangha and great association for all the Matajis and Prabhujis. Shivani Mataji, yes, Mataji, when I feel that. Valli Mataji, wonderful class, Mataji. As you mentioned, we heard from realized souls. And Lalitangi Mataji is saying such a wonderful class, beautiful string point like a garland, melodious like your japa. Thank you so much. As Mataji always says that your japa is like melodious. And Radha Mataji is saying, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. What a sweet class, Mataji. As you have mentioned, you are talking with mind before chant. Talking with mind before chanting it very nicely, Mataji. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Very beautiful points, Mataji, and very nice comments and realizations from all the devotees. Is there anybody more? I wish you could sing. Okay, Mataji, Panishari Lakshmi Mataji is asking, can you sing something for us?
Oh my God. I don't know. We all can sing together. How is that?
We want to hear from you, Mataji.
Oh, no. I generally, without my harmonium, I feel very lost. The tune goes. Why don't we all sing Hare Krishna?
Mataji, you just sing because in Zoom, it becomes it's not good. It's not palatable when everybody starts speaking. So better if you just sing and let us all in.
Let's do this 2 minutes Hare Krishna Mahamantra song, and you can join me if you want. A simple way that I keep hearing in Mayapur, the wonderful tune. I love that. It's a simple. I'm a Bengali, you see. So I sing mostly in that tune. So here it goes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody, you can sing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Haribol, Dandavad. Jai Go Srila Prabhupada.
I could not think of any song so quickly, so I just sang the
You know what?
Mahamantra.
That was perfect. Thank you so much for honoring my request. Hare Krishna.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Komadiki Mataji, would you like to end the call? Mataji?
Yes.
Yeah, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I'm so sorry I wasn't able to unmute. Such a beautiful class, Mataji. I'm a fan of your chanting in the morning, and your class is also so nice. You took all the points that's relating to the topic from various places and very nicely presented it. Thank you so much for the wonderful class.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nina Mataji. Very nice enlightening, and everybody is very pleased and very nice melodious singing. We are very grateful to you. We look forward to your association again more and more. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. I look forward to your association. We are all very grateful, very fortunate to have this Bhakti Sangha. Let's utilize it to the most for us and for everybody, all the devotees. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Okay, by your permission, we can all end the call now.
Yes.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai.
Srila
Charita Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Bhakti Sangha ki jai.
Jai.
Then Krishna Katha Mela ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
And Her Grace Nina Mataji ki jai.
Oh, no.
Nina Mataji ki jai.
Oh,
Gomadiki
Nina
Mataji
Mataji
ki
ki
Gomadiki
jai.
jai.
Mataji
Thank
ki
you.
jai.
Thank you, Mataji.
Jai. Thank you,
Hari
Mataji.
Bol,
Thank you
Hari
so much.
Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.